Well, we did say if something unexpected happened, something beyond the Suella Braverman sacking happened, we'd be back with an emergency podcast. And we are. It's Political Paradigms. Toby and Theo here. Theo, when did you discover the news that David Cameron is being appointed Foreign Secretary?
When I looked at my phone and it said you'd called me 4 times, so I was like, okay, I guess something happened in the reshuffle. Suella Braverman. Oh no, not just Suella Braverman out. David Cameron, that guy from a couple of years ago, is the foreign secretary. What?
Did you utter a swear word when you saw the headline?
A few, a few.
Were people around you like, well, what is it, Theo? What is it? What's going on?
Yeah. I was in a cafe with my mum actually.
What does your mum think about David Cameron's return to government?
Well, she actually quite she was actually quite surprised as well, but I think she's a fan of his. I think they knew each other. So
Oh my
yeah,
God. Could you get us an interview with the new foreign secretary?
I think he's going to be pretty busy at the moment, trying to hold up this dying government.
Yeah. So David Cameron is foreign secretary. He's been appointed via the House of Lords. We've got some polling out on this. So Suella Braverman has been sacked. James Cleverly, you said this yesterday, didn't you? You said James Cleverly could be the new Home Secretary. He is.
There he goes, your favourite.
CCHQ says they'll be working with him to stop the boats. You know that meme where it's like the Grim Reaper like knocking on doors?
Going through all the doors, yeah.
Yes,
the
it's
boats destroying all the Home Secretary.
Stop boats is the Grim Reaper, and it's like Priti Patel, Suella Braverman, James Cleverly, you're next.
Yeah.
And then, so do people think Sunak was right to sack Suella Braverman? 57% of the public say right, 20% say wrong. What do you think the polling is for David Cameron? Right or wrong to bring back David Cameron?
I'm going to say overwhelmingly wrong just because of the circumstance. I think it's wrong, just constitutionally speaking, but I want to know what the people think.
People say good decision, 24%, bad decision, 38%. So
there you go.
People are like, it's not like strong. I think it's kind of, people are like, meh. Listen, it's big headlines. It's a big splash. Only issue is, so like, when we started this podcast, Tory conference had happened, and Rishi Sunak was saying, I'm the candidate of change. There has been a failed political consensus. The implication was all his predecessors were wrong and he was distancing himself. So what the hell's he doing now?
Is this a radical change, or is this just taking us back 30 years to when you've got great officers of state serving out of the House of Lords? I mean, I'm still very surprised.
It's inconsistent with like his whole message was I'm change. I'm a new Tory. You know, David Cameron, like a month ago was like condemning Rishi Sunak's like policy decisions. So it's all very.
It just shows you the kind of position he's in.
These
are the kind of he can't pick and choose. You know, almost everyone's who's not directly in his cabinet's said something about him or condemned him. So it's like he has a huge pool of loyal supporters to choose from.
No. Therese Coffey also gone. Greg Hands apparently gone. Steve Barclay has been demoted, the health secretary. New health secretary, Victoria Atkins, who's a rising star in the Conservative Party in a lot of ways. Probably a major figure when they head into opposition. Theo, if you had to guess, do you think this will move the dial at all? Because there is a case to be made that voters maybe associate, he's not popular. Maybe they see David Cameron and some sort of, because right now the Tories are at 25%. Maybe they can start nudging back up to 30 by getting like some sort of Lib Dem facing moderate Tory voters sort of to take a look at the government again. Do you think that might happen?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could give them a boost. Like, it's out with the Suella Braverman and everything she's associated with, which has been immensely unpopular with most people. And then the brand of Toryism that is somewhat popular or was popular, the new Toryism of David Cameron, bringing that in as a high-profile person in the cabinet, definitely could.
I do feel sorry for. So imagine you're a red wall voter, okay? And you voted for Jeremy Corbyn's Labour Party in 2017. You voted for Brexit in 2016. You hated austerity. You hated the David Cameron government. You voted for Boris Johnson in 2019 to get Brexit done. And now you have a government with Rishi Sunak and David Cameron and Jeremy Hunt.
Wow. Was this really just a long-term power move to get those people back into power?
It's like this government was elected to like not be like that, right? And now it is just the like. Does it feel to you like the 2015 government is sort of slowly reforming around us?
It is, and they have no mandate. I mean, the 2015 government had a very small majority. The 2019 government had a much bigger majority. So this is basically just the old the old new Tories coming back in with no mandate and doing. I don't know what they're trying to do, but they have no mandate.
Do you think it's their best shot as damage limitation? Because electorally, I'm thinking about it, and like just projecting instead of trying to do if this is Sunak's U-turn of like I'm not going to be the change candidate, I'm actually going to do. We're going to be stable, consistent, stay the course, don't let Labour ruin it kind of campaign. I don't think that's going to shift the dial massively, but maybe, they can cling on to like 20 or 30 seats that they'd otherwise lose. Like, as damage limitation, 2015 Redux seems sensible to me. Throw in some tax cuts and hope for the best kind of thing.
Yeah, I think playing it safe, maybe going more for those on the fence Lib Dem Tory voters, trying to maybe secure that base, make the loss not too painful. Who knows?
That's how you like reduce a Labour majority, right? You've lost the red wall type voters. If you can keep as many sort of heartland Tory seats on side as possible, that's kind of, if Sunak has, I don't know, 220 seats this time next year, that's a win, right?
Yeah. I mean, and you may even be able to stay in as leader.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that's possible if the Conservatives overperform expectations but still lose? Do you think Sunak can stay in position?
I think it would be very. I mean, people's political conscience isn't that extensive. If they do perform better, I think people would quite quickly forget that they were expected to lose horribly. That would just be down to speculation. He'd still probably have to go.
I have seen some stuff floating around. It looks like potentially. Hang on, you keep talking to our listeners. I'm just going to grab my phone and get this excellent screenshot I took earlier.
All right. So listeners, finally being addressed directly by me.
And I'm back.
You are listening to the best. Oh.
No, carry on, Theo. Carry on.
I was going to say, this is exactly why we named the podcast Political Paradigms, because the paradigms are always shifting.
I mean, David Cameron, Foreign Secretary. Do you know what you were saying this? The constitutional thing, right? I've seen a few people arguing about this online. The consensus from sort of the big-brained sort of media commentariat is like, it's wrong to say that this is undemocratic. This is actually how it always used to be, which is true. But also, it does mean David Cameron can't face any questions in the Commons, and there are a lot of MPs that have questions for him about the various scandals he's been involved with, and have a lot of questions about his relationship with various interests in China, and all these things aren't going to be asked of him in the House of Commons. Do you think that is a problem for democracy, Theo?
Yeah, I mean, regardless of the content of, his career, he's an unelected official serving in high office. Just by principle, that's undemocratic. And anyone saying, "Oh, people criticizing this, calling it undemocratic, have unfounded claims." I mean, what? Because it used to be that we used to not really be a democracy. We used to only have 5% of the population being able to vote. So to argue that just because something was done in the past makes it democratic is just completely unfounded.
Yeah, I would be tempted to institute a rule that to hold one of the great offices of state, you need to be in Parliament. You could have like a, I don't know, DCMS minister. Like, you could have ministers in the Lords. I don't know how I feel about the actual Foreign Secretary sitting in the House of Lords.
Yeah, I mean, there have always been members of government in the Lords, but they're always, no offense to them, kind of insignificant.
Yeah,
so,
and you need it.
And also, like, people don't join the Lords because they want to be in government. They've normally had a much more distinguished career than, a junior minister or something like that.
Well, not today. King Charles was pleased to honour David Cameron and appoint him Foreign Secretary. That's what the statement said anyway. So, Beth Rigby at Sky, I'll get your immediate reaction to this. All this stuff is stuff's breaking as we're recording this, Theo. Senior Conservative source tells her there is talk in Parliament of a meeting of the new Conservative group later, that's sort of the right-wing flank of the party, later today, and the agenda item is a Suella Braverman leadership bid.
Well, as to be expected, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she obviously, and what did she say earlier? I'll be back or something.
I'll say, yeah, she's been, the papers, well, the Times was saying earlier, she says she'll say something when she's ready, whatever that means.
Yeah, look, in layman's terms, I'm going to run for the leadership at the first opportunity.
Yeah.
She's obviously, she's probably been going around to people's offices going, are you going to back me when I go? And they've all been saying yes. I mean, it's pretty transparent what she's doing here.
She would do it now if she had the votes, right? The reason I don't think that's going to happen now is I don't think there aren't enough votes to trigger a no confidence motion, and even if there were, Sunak would win it. But if she could, she'd go for it right now, I think.
I think. I mean, she's probably just going to wait for the first strategic opportunity to do so, I would say.
Yeah, if there's any... This is the thing for Sunak now. It feels to me like he has, and he's avoided doing this up till now, he has peed off, as it were, the one wing of the party. And that wing of the party isn't everything, and they're not going to do anything. But if Sunak is in serious trouble at some point in the next year, that wing of the party will sort of use their grudge against him to launch like a challenge.
Yeah, I mean, I think regardless of what the short-term strategy is, when there's going to be a leadership election, she's going to be a force to be reckoned with. No question about it.
I've just seen a tweet here.
And now she can go publish as many articles as she wants, and she won't need government authorization.
Just seen a tweet here. Starmer, make Ed Miliband shadow foreign secretary. You know you want to.
Getting the whole gang back together. That would be hilarious.
Can you imagine?
They should just bring back Blair. Just bring back Blair. Just bring back Blair. Bring him back.
I've got some great detailed data here, right? So Leave voters, nearly half of Leave voters think Sunak was wrong to sack Suella Braverman, and nearly half of Conservative voters think he was wrong to sack Suella Braverman. So while it's broadly popular what he's done, he has annoyed like that half of his base, which could be a problem.
That is a big problem. I was actually wondering about the extent to which the Tory party is kind of dominated by Brexit, Suella Braverman, Stop the Boats members, and that makes it very clear they are a large contingent of the party. I mean, practically half. So again, if we get a race between a kind of hard right candidate and a Sunak Cameron brand candidate, it will be close. Very close.
Yeah, and my prediction, I've seen a few people saying that they think it's plausible that there's a small polling boost for the government from this. I think that's... Should we take sides on whether or not we think that's going to happen? I'm saying I don't think there's going to be a small polling bump. What do you think, Theo?
Am I supposed to take the opposite view?
Give me your honest view.
Honestly, my honest view would be that this could cause a boost for the government. But again, the picture we've been building up over the past few podcasts, nothing significant. But, maybe some people will be happy to see Cameron back, or at least whatever he represents in the party.
I'm almost persuaded, like, when I think about it, because it's like, are they going to lose anyone from this? Probably not. Might they gain a small number of people? Also, probably yes.
It kind of feels like when the teacher goes out the classroom and the whole class starts the whole society within the classroom just degrades into anarchy, and then the teacher walks back in. The teacher is David Cameron.
And who wouldn't want their teacher to be David Cameron?
It's a
Uh,
mess for Toby.
it's oh, hang on, a new chief secretary to the Treasury. Oh, is this right? Okay, Laura Trott is chief secretary to the Treasury. I've never heard of Laura Trott, but notable, I guess. Have you seen the Conservative Party Twitter account? They've been tweeting with emojis all day. Huge
Oh
move.
no.
Flex. Congratulations, James Cleverly. He's back. Fire emoji. Congrats, David Cameron. Um,
Yeah, they're going back to the to the 2019 tactics. Just be as Gen Z as possible in your social media out.
it's the same people that brought you, what was it? Carbon neutral by 2050, Corbyn neutral by Christmas.
It's the same people who brought you lo-fi Boris wave beats to get Brexit done too, which is the real thing.
Yeah. It was to relax, brackets, get Brexit done to.
Okay, okay. All right. You way well versed on the Tory party than I am, Toby.
Do you think Keir Starmer will do what was it, mean tweets? Jeremy Corbyn did that last time.
Oh my God. I don't think you'd have any good comebacks unless it's scripted.
I'm not a block of ham. Leave me alone.
If he thinks that tweet's gonna upset me, he doesn't know me.
Yeah, exactly. I'm wait for the news tonight. It'll be like, well, I think the government's failing, and we see this pathetic government appointing a failed prime minister. I can write it. I can write it. That'll be what we'll get later. Wonder if we'll hear from Sunak.
His job has been too easy.
It really is, isn't it?
Well, I don't think does Keir Starmer have. I'm trying to find his Twitter account, but all I can see is this. This looks like a fake. Yeah, this is a fake. Does he have Twitter?
Yes, he does. The last thing he tweeted was an article from Esquire that says the Labour leader Keir Starmer speaks candidly about his journey from working class outsider to Prime Minister in waiting, and his fight to transform his party from repeat election loser to Britain's next government. And the little headline is Keir Starmer, the man who would be PM.
Would be.
The would-be Prime Minister, Keir Starmer.
It would be if they hadn't just brought out Cameron and guaranteed their victory next year.
Oh yeah, a landslide, 500 seats. They've got up a little graphic. Rishi Sunak claimed to offer change, and it's a clip of him saying change, saying how it started. Then it goes how it's going, and it's David Cameron being appointed. And they say Rishi Sunak out of touch, out of ideas, out of his depth.
Look, for whatever reason he did this, he's given so much firepower to the other side, like just in terms of like beam material and straight up arguments, about representation. For a government that's not seen as representing the people, this is just it's a really strange move, and he's basically just handed them so much material to discuss.
I've just seen someone says bring in John Major, you cowards. To be honest,
oh my God.
I'd quite like it if they brought John. Let's bring back John Major. Put Heseltine in the cabinet.
Yeah, at this point, let's just get Blair back as well. Why not?
What do you think this has increased the likelihood that Gordon Brown or Tony Blair will be like first Secretary of State or something next year? Can you imagine?
Why don't we just have 2005 again?
Keir Starmer appoints Gordon Brown Chancellor of the Exchequer.
Just put Tony Blair in the Lords and make him leader of the Labour Party.
Do you know what? I'm sure I heard some Labour MP saying that like a couple of years ago when Starmer was doing really badly. They're like, well, maybe we can just get him back.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
And look, the glass ceiling has been broken. That constitutional principle has been changed, and anything is possible. Labour may sink down to that level. Who knows?
Andy Burnham in the government from the Lords. He wouldn't do that, would he? No chance he'd do that. I'm waiting for like Peter Mandelson to come back or something in government. Can you imagine?
I also just find it strange that they put Cameron in. Like, isn't he technically isn't there some law about lobbyists not being able to be in government? something like that.
Oh, please let this unfold. So like he has to quit within 2 weeks or something. Can you imagine?
No, because he was the one who passed the Lobbying
Yeah.
Transparency Act.
No, he did, because he was really trying to differentiate himself, obviously from sort of the dying Brown government, and he was all about like basically like David Cameron and George Osborne tried to be like the sleaze busters for a little while, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah. So Cameron obviously wrote this lobbying act, had it passed, jumped through a loophole in it a couple of years ago, and is now potentially going to lose his job because of it.
Can you
I mean,
imagine?
just imagine.
Well,
It's like setting up your own. It's like setting up your own booby trap and then getting caught in it.
it really is. There are some statements from the right of the Conservative Party. People have been making their views clear. Andrea Jenkins says, I support Suella Braverman, sacked for speaking the truth, bad call by Rishi, caving into the left.
Okay, this is some Trumpist kind of rhetoric right here.
It's beginning. It's beginning.
Yeah, you know what? All this has probably done is just rallied the right, and it's going to lead to a much more Trumpist kind of brand emerging. Honestly, any kind of, I mean, this is probably the point where the one nation's divide from the right. I mean, this is a catalyst for that change.
Do you think this next year is the last gasp of the Cameron wing of the Conservative Party?
It could be, or it could be where they establish themselves as the dominant force in politics once again.
If they win,
Big society, austerity.
if they win the general election, they will reestablish that's the bar they have to clear, I think, to maintain their position in the Conservative Party. All right.
I've just realised we can go to the Lords and watch Cameron answer questions.
Will he be doing that he must be, right?
I mean, ministers already do answer questions in the Lords. I've been to see it quite a few times. I think that would be pretty cool.
I think it would be as well. Wow, the wind is going outside. Whoa. The trees.
Finally something interesting happening in the Lords. I mean, that's
that is something
that's immense.
Yeah. So what, we're going to go ahead and watch Cameron we could go and watch Cameron in the Lords next time we go to Parliament, Theo.
That would be sick. That would be sick.
Why do we sound like Cameron fanboys? We're like, oh yeah, David Cameron. Oh yeah.
Look, a part of me will always be a Cameron fanboy.
You were always... Theo was a little sort of... little young conservative back in the day. I remember.
I may have been, yeah.
Those days. All right, that's it from us for today. Theo, I presume I'll hear from you at the end of this week on the pod, but hey, maybe something else dramatic will happen.
We aren't ruling out any more emergency pods, guys.
All right, Theo, I'll speak to you soon.
Take care.